If we import a PDF that was created somewhere else, the fonts might not translate, and you might have some image issues. So for right now, we're going to stick with files that have been created in Command originally. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm in Command. So if you guys are familiar with Command, this is the home page here. Designs is about halfway down on the right, or I'm sorry, on the left-hand side. It looks like a pad of paper with a pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, did you all receive the email with all the templates that I sent you?
Yes.
And were you able to download those templates?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go in right now and show you guys how to import one into Command. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on the plus sign at the bottom right-hand side. So all I've done is click on Designs. The splash screen comes up. These are things that Jamie created in her account or she's imported in. I'm going to go ahead and hit on the plus sign. When I do that, you see I have 5 different options. I can go ahead right here and click Import PDF right from this screen. I'm going to choose that and I'm going to click on Next. I'm hoping with all of the video calls that are going on in my household right now that my internet keeps up. Okay, so when I do that, I get to the template called the section called My Designs. If for some reason I wanted to go back to some of the other templates, the print templates and the social media ones, I would click here on Templates to the left. I'm up at the top of the screen here, but I'm going to stick with My Designs. You can see that I have 3 main options at the top. The first is to start from blank. So you're totally creating from scratch. Or in the middle is where we're going to import the PDF. Or to the right, I could go back to the templates. They give you a lot of options to go back. I'm going to go ahead and click in the middle here on Import PDF Files. When I do that, it's going to bring me to my downloads folder. So hopefully you guys have gone in and chosen this here. I'm going to click on the what I call Town 24-Hour Market Report template. So once I click to upload that, it's going to start the process. So you can see it's coming in on the left here. It's got a red circle going around and I can already see that it has an error message, which it's always going to show. So that's normal. So if I just zoom in a little, you can see that here. Okay, so it's come in. I still have this little triangle. When I click on the 3 dots, do you guys see these 3 dots on the bottom right of the image?
Yes.
Yes, okay. When I click on that, I'm going to click Fix. For some reason, every time we import in a PDF, we have to come in and fix it. So I'm going to come in and say I want it to be inches. That's all I'm doing is choosing a measurement unit. So I'm going to click inches and I'm going to click Continue. Now you'll notice it doesn't look like anything's happened, but that little triangle warning has gone away. So now I'm going to click on it to open it. So this is a PDF that I created in Command on my account, and I've now uploaded it to Jamie's account because I wanted you guys to see that Jamie didn't create it. It was not in her selection. So if I click on the different parts, you can see that these are now separate. So this is one of the drawbacks. For some reason, in the last is one text box, 24 is another text box, and hours is a third. But other than that, everything is in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a different one. Maybe I don't want to do Andover. I'm going to come in and I'll write in a different town. So I'm going to say Tewksbury.
Do Wilmington for a change.
Okay. So now I can still move this however I want. So I could just drag it so that it looks more like it's in the middle. I could make it bigger. I have all the editing features that I would have if I were to have created it in my own account or created it here originally. So now all of these fields are editable. So now what I would have to do is come into MLS and do a search to find out, well, what is the activity in Tewksbury in the last 24 hours? So I've already looked this up. So I can tell you that in the past 24 hours, there's been 1 new listing. There are 4 under contract in the last 24 hours and 3 sold. Now, if you look, it doesn't look so great when they're not centered. So first I'm going to kind of move the boxes over. And then if I come up here, I have all the basic text editing functions available to me. So if I click on the number 1, I can then make it center justified. I can click on the 4. I can make it center justified, and I can click on the 3 and make it center justified. And I'm going to come in and switch the date to today's date. And really, I could keep adding. I could add my picture and I could add my contact information in. I could change anything that I want. Maybe I'm not doing this by 24 hours. Maybe I want to do it in the last week. We can edit any single thing that we want to in here. The only thing I would highly recommend is up here at the top, we want to change the name. So I'm going to call this Tewksbury update. And when I click done, it's going to save it and it's going to go right back into Jamie's folder. I'm not going to worry about the fact that the preview's not showing up. That will come in the next few minutes. Sorry, I just clicked on something. So you can see now it has already updated. So what I'd love to have you guys do is to have you try that. If any of you are already in command, if you have your command open, if you could go ahead and upload one into your command, one of those PDFs that I sent to you. If you could upload that into your command, and then I'd like to see what issues you guys have that come up, if any. And while you guys are doing that, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to let me know.
Can you hear me, Sarah?
Hi, Heidi.
Okay, I wasn't sure whether my sound was on because I have you on my iPad, so I can do the same thing as you do on my computer while I watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can only do one file at a time, right? From the.
Yep.
I have to figure out how to get this off of my screen so I can get that on my screen.
Do you have the ability to come to the side or
No,
the top or bottom and minimize the screen?
no.
It says exit full screen and then it leaves enough room on the bottom, Deb.
On your view, Susan, where does it have exit full screen?
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
any of that, sorry.
It, I'd have to go back. Let me go back.
Oh, here we go. Exit full screen, okay.
Okay, you found it? Okay.
Sorry, guys, I'm not technically astute.
That's why you're here. Zulim has uploaded them all. Zulim, have you fixed all the measurement issues? You guys all look very intent. Focus.
We have 4 templates, right?
I think I sent you 6 or 7.
Oh, the others were not labeled templates, so.
They're all templates.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The 3 logo files, if,
Yep, I'm going to show you where to add the logo files in just a second.
okay.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep up, so.
Sarah, what do we click on after I did the change it to inches?
Then you would just click on the center of the image if you wanted to open it.
Okay.
Deb, let me know where you're at.
Now I have to go into my email.
You all look so focused.
I had to step out to take a call.
Oh, that's okay.
Now I'm probably missed something very important.
Oh no, we're just, everyone's trying to do it for themselves. Zuline, yes, you choose inches. I'm just reading from the chat box. Would you like me to go through and do it again just so you can watch again, or are you guys all good?
I'm good.
I would, but I don't want to slow down the process.
Yeah,
If
I
not,
think
we're
I'm gonna have to leave because I'm gonna slow down the process.
No, let me do it again, just so you guys can see.
Well, I'm trying to download the templates, and then I have to figure out how to upload templates, things you guys already know how to do. So,
Well, they've only seen it once.
I'm still
So on your
figuring it out, Deb.
email, all you would do is when you see the previews, you would click, there's a little arrow on it that you would click.
no, I
download
know
it.
how to download, but I have to download every one of them, right? Oh, no, you can download all of them?
How about just do one for now?
Let me know when you have one downloaded and then we'll go ahead. It's hard doing this through Zoom when I can't see everybody's screens.
Sarah, what's happening in designs when the downloaded image is just a blank box with the file name at the bottom?
Like these here?
It kind of, yeah. This is just it's actually doesn't even have that little light blue box, but purely white.
It could be
Oh,
that
it
it has.
says some fonts used in this PDF are missing. Please select it. Okay, so you have to replace the fonts.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sarah, where do I go to download? Into
You
here.
need to upload?
Upload.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through this again just so that you guys can all see. So I'm gonna click on the designs icon. That's gonna bring me to, I'm in Jamie's account, so Jamie's splash page. Everything that you see here are things that have been uploaded into the account or created in here. The first thing I'm gonna do is click in the lower right hand part of the screen on the teal circle with the plus sign. And I'm gonna choose import PDF. And then I'll hit next. So it's the teal circle with the plus sign and then import PDF, and then we're gonna hit next. And then we wait a second. Okay, so now I'm gonna choose in the middle where it says import PDF files, edit every element of your PDF. Now you could drag a file onto it. I'm just gonna click right on the word drag and drop, and it's gonna bring me to my downloads folder. So at this point, I'm going to choose a file. So I'm gonna choose just any one of them. So that starts it. And you'll see on the left-hand side of my screen anyway, a gray box with a red triangle in the top right-hand part that has an exclamation point in it, which is giving me that measurement error. And we just get to wait a second. Okay, once I can see the picture.
Okay, I'm
Just zoom in a
behind.
little bit.
I'm gonna
Okay.
just leave the meeting at this point, okay?
Well, Deb, why don't you ask questions? Which
Mine
part?
is still uploading.
Okay,
Mine
so
is
we
too,
can wait a
Deb.
second.
You,
Yeah, Deb, I'm right at the beginning. I just barely got one in.
one came in and then I've got another template that's just going around and around and around. That's not, I
Yeah,
can't.
me too.
Well, as long as you have one, because sometimes they take a little bit to come in. Do you see one where you have a preview of it with this red
Yes,
triangle? Okay. Once you have that, click on the 3 dots that are on the lower right-hand portion of the screen. And you have 2 options, either to fix or delete. So we're going to click on fix.
I don't have the 3 dots.
Maybe hit to refresh your screen. That's to the left of your
I see it.
URL. It
Okay.
looks like
All right, so now I've got them and then fix.
Okay. Yep, and then
And then
fix.
go to inches and then
Yep.
continue.
Now, once you've gotten there, the red triangle disappears. So now you can go ahead and just click on the image twice. Just double click on the image to open it. So just let me know when you guys have something ready to open.
Ready.
Something opened. Okay.
Ready.
So now that you have your image opened, every single part of it is something you can edit. Now I can see that there was a problem when it read in the text. If you look at my total active and my average price per square foot, it put in a weird little question mark. So what I'm going to do is just highlight it. I'm going to double click on the text so that I see the text box. And then I'm going to go ahead and highlight that area that came in strange. Oops. And just,
How do you highlight it? Because mine is acting weird.
so the only thing I did, I'll just go back. The only thing I did is double click in the box so that I make the text box active. And
Oh,
then
I
I'm just
see.
clicking and dragging.
I seem to have deleted Andover, Mass in this template and it won't let me put anything else in.
Do you still have the text box at all?
Yes?
So if you double click in it, can you type?
No.
You could
Can you
create a
back
new
out?
text box,
Can you go
or
to
you
the
could
back
hit,
arrow?
yeah, the back arrow. It's above the gray area on the top left. Let me know if that works, Deb.
No, I can't. I've got the arrows that go in all ways, like I'm gonna move it.
Do you see up at the top under the word, like on my computer, it comes in under not secure. You have a kind of curvy arrow to the left.
No,
Let me just zoom in on my screen. That's the backup or undo arrow.
Oh, the undo arrow? Oh, yeah, I can do that. All right.
So just if you click that
But
a few
nothing's
times,
happening when I do the undo.
Might have to hit it a couple of times.
Oh, okay. I did. It took about 7 times. Okay. Now I have Andover, Mass back.
okay. So now if you double click on it, you should get your text box and you could highlight it or delete it or change it. It's all look very intent.
Mhm.
Sarah, when we go to post these on like Facebook and whatnot, because you can only upload JPEGs, so we have to convert this back to pixels. Is that what we have to do?
So we uploaded this as a PDF. I would recommend downloading it as a PNG file for Facebook rather than a JPEG.
Okay.
So let me just kind of walk you through a few different options that you have. So because I created this in my account, it has my picture on it. But if you remember, I'm in Jamie's account right now. So when I click, see these icons on the left underneath the KW, I have templates, images, text, icons, and logos. So I'm going to click on images. And because I'm in Jamie's account, it's going to show me her agent photo. So if I want to, I could select my picture and I could click here where it's got the 2 little arrows that kind of look like a circle, and that's the replace image. So I can go ahead and do that. I still have all the editing capabilities if I want to make the picture a little bit smaller.
Where did you click to replace image?
So when I clicked on her image or on the image,
Yeah.
and then when I come up to the photo, do you see I have a plus sign? I have kind of circular arrows, and then I have 9 squares.
I don't have that on my picture.
Let me just zoom in on mine. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it, what you have. I don't have that on my picture.
You have to hover your pointer over it.
But my picture also went kind of gray. I mean, it's not in the color anymore. So I don't know what I did.
Do you have at least the plus sign?
Well, I'll just cancel. Okay, so, okay. Now I got it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So all of the text is editable. So again, I could come in and write Jamie's name. And if you look, when I was typing, do you see how it split it to 2 lines? And now her last name is covering over where it says cell phone. It's doing that because my name is shorter than her name. And that's how big the text box was. So what I'm going to do is, if you just watch my screen for a second, I'm going to click somewhere else off of the text. And when I do that, it gives me all these little white handles around this text box. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. The oblong ones that are on the sides and with different shapes, you'll see it on the top and bottom, they're going to let me stretch out that text box without changing the font size. So when I use those side kind of oblong handles, I can stretch out the text box. When I use the corner ones, the circles, it actually is going to make the font bigger or smaller. So the ones that are on the sides, all it does for text anyway, is to adjust the size of the text box, but it does not affect the size of the text or the size of the font. Whereas the corner circle ones actually will make it bigger or smaller. So let's make Jamie's name really big. At the same time, while I have this selected, I could change the color. Now I could use one of the template colors, or we have this little tiny icon that is an eyedropper tool. And if I were to choose the eyedropper tool, I could go anywhere in the picture to get the color that I wanted. So I just chose in the red box and I'm going to hit apply. So now Jamie's name is bigger and it's red. So you can go in and you can play with any of the text. Now let's say I didn't want this font. I'm going to choose a different font. I come right up to the top. The default font is called Lato. I could come in and say that I want it to be a different font. Now you notice when I chose the different font, it's wider. Each letter is wider. So I'd have to come in and adjust the text box and possibly the size of the font again. But you can adjust everything that you want, any single part of it. This is where you might find yourself going down the rabbit trail of playing too much with your graphics, and 3 hours have gone by. The other things I want to show you, when you are in your account and you click on the text icon that's on the left-hand side, you're going to notice that, you know, I'm in Jamie's account. She has things in here from before she moved to the Andover office because it has been in her Keller Williams account for that long. So her address is coming up as her old office address, but I've got her name, I've got her Facebook, I've got her email. These are all things that come in from your marketing profile. And if I were to click on any of them, you'll see it automatically brings it into the image. So what's good about that is you could technically create things without having to type them.
So right below her name, it doesn't just automatically pull that stuff from our marketing profile?
No, because this was created, these are just text boxes.
Oh,
And
right,
there's
right.
nothing
Yep.
that's like a merge field.
Gotcha.
The other things I wanted to show you, and these seem kind of silly, I will tell you. Okay, so under text, the library are things that come in from your marketing profile. You do have specific ones from Keller Williams. So for instance, you know, the ownership statement is here. You've got some different percentage things. There are banners. So banners can be fun. You can choose any of these. I don't know why we would have an 80% off promo sale, but it's there. It's kind of funny, but you could pick any of these. So when you plop it in here, right, you can still add your text. These are just text boxes like everything else. And you could change it all, or you could go ahead and delete it. But you've got a lot of different options in here, you know, that you could plop onto something if you want to. And then you could also add them from somewhere else. So it's giving you all different options for text. So some of those, you know, it could be fun. You could make things look very professional very quickly just by adding in some graphics. The icons took me a little bit, I'm going to be honest with you, to warm up to. I don't have any icons in my library, and it doesn't look like Jamie does either. But under company, you do have your website, email, map location, phone, and mobile phone icons. So if you click on them, they do come in rather large, but you can then resize them, and you know, she could come in and put these all down by her signature or whatever it is that you might want to do. Then there's stock icons. I mean, this is what took me a while to get over, but I was thinking about it. You could have some fun with it. If you had a property that had a lake and you wanted to put a little fish, I mean, I don't know, you could go crazy with these things. There's also here, which can be easy to miss, a drop down that will give you different folders of these. So if you wanted to come down and say, you know what, a border could be a nice look that you could add into something. So if I just put this out and I'll make it white so you could see it, right? Oops, you could quickly make things look very fancy, right? And that's kind of a nice feature to have depending on what it is that you're doing. It doesn't really work in this instance, but I wanted to at least show you that it's there. So you just have to know to go to icons, go to stock icons, and then you can choose. There's a whole lot of different folders. You could make speech bubbles where you have people talking, you know, Susan's an incredible realtor. Yes, she is, you know, and you could have little thought bubbles everywhere. Okay, you can also add in your own. And then under logos, this is where I wanted to show you guys how to add in those different colored logos to your command. So for instance, this one here that's showing up in the library, this is the one that Jamie had added to her marketing profile. And I know that because that's where that would have come from. Can you see at the bottom to the right of where it has the red support bubble, it says add to library.
Mm-hmm.
So if I choose that, I get 4 logo. It's very hard to see because it's gray, but it says logos, and I have 4 areas to add logos. And then I have 4 areas to add icons. If I click on the plus sign, it again is going to bring me to my downloads folder. I know I have mine in a folder called 183, or at least I did. So I've got to find my 183 here. I have way too many things in my downloads folder. Okay, 183 success. So if I come in here, I can see, well, I know personally I like having a white logo, especially when I'm doing any sort of graphics. So it doesn't look like anything, but it is there. I'm gonna then come in and choose the red one. It's got white letters. And I might want this one that does not have a white background. Now, the reason why these two don't look like there is anything there is because it's a transparent background. If you guys are interested, I can also send you, let's see, the Equal Housing Opportunity logo and the Realtor logo.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Because once you have those in there, then you don't have to think about it. So now when I look at Jamie's library, this is her library of logos. I can see right in here, all right, well, in this case, I do think that the red with the white looks great, but what if I only wanted it to be white? It's interesting. It does not want me to be able to easily change it. So if I clicked on the white logo, it's going to plop it right in the center of my screen, and it's way too big. So I'm going to put it where I want it, and then I can adjust the size. So I just want it to visually look like it is, lining up in there. And then I can say, well, the white is kind of boring. Maybe I want to switch it, right? I can drag it right over the top. And then if I decided that, it'd be really good to put these logos in, I don't have anywhere I'm going to replace them. So I'm just going to click on it. You can see it's way too big. So I'm going to make it nice and small, and I can stick it right here. And I'll do the same with the Equal Housing Opportunity.
Is there a limit to how many you can have? Because I have 8 in there and I can't add another one.
You can't add it to your library, but you could keep, if you had a folder on your desktop somewhere, or like I tend to keep them in my downloads folder, you could always just come in and add the image, which I'll show you.
So what's the limit of how many you can have?
In the library, you can have 8.
Oh, okay.
We're
That's
trying
why
to
I
get them
want
to add to it. Now, under company, you can see that there are a bunch of other ones. You could come in. I don't know why you'd want ones that say DBA, but you could have them. And there's a bunch that are just Keller Williams or the KW. Oh, they have gray and white for the Equal Housing Opportunity. So I will email you out those 2 little logos. The next thing I wanted to show you, dun, dun. Okay. We can go ahead and we can delete out the little swoopy thing. So you could come in and you could honestly modify any part of it, but what we have to do is make sure that our numbers are accurate. So March 25th, these should have been the accurate numbers for these houses, but just in case, I'm going to go over to MLS PIN if you're working in Massachusetts anyway. I'm just going to hit search. Now there's two different ways to really look at this. We could do a market report and we could find out everything except for if you have new, like some of the different templates have new listings. This has total active, total pending, average days on market, and price per square foot. So what I could do is in MLS to get those different fields, I'm going to go right to the tools menu. And I'm going to choose area market reviews. You can only do one property type at a time in this field. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to get the information. But if I choose single family, I'm going to go ahead and, because this one said Andover, I believe, but where are we on? Andover. I'm going to choose Essex. For town, I'm going to choose Andover. And I'm just going to hit run. So all I went to is tools, area market reviews. I picked my property type. I'm going to leave it as year over year for now. I'm leaving today's date. I've chosen Massachusetts, Essex County, Andover. That's it. I'm going to hit run report. Okay, when I get this here, this is a whole lot of information. Just going to show you off the top for your own personal benefit. If you haven't done this, if you choose the second page, you're going to get these. The numbers are always off the graph, so don't think that that is an oddity. You also have up here, click to show median. If you don't want it to be average, like right now you can see it's average list price per square foot. If you click on this button, it will change everything over from average to median. So you get to choose what kind of data that you want. Just make sure that you reflect that in your graphic if you're using that. So when I read this report, sorry?
What did you use on the template? Oh, you used average. Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
So I can just click back to show average. So when we look at this, we can see the first column here is 2019 and the second column is 2020. And we are looking right here as of March 31st. So we can see that last year on today's date, we had 80 units in the Andover. This year we have 48. Average days on the market in 2019, right? This, I just want you to be able to see visually that you've got two different columns here. So if I want to look at it right now in Andover, there are 48 listings. Okay, so I'll come back to command. I'm going to say total active. And I'm going to change this to be, that is absolutely bizarre. It's going to be 48. Okay. I'll just move that in here. All right, total pending. So now I'm going to come down and I'm going to look at what is pending. We have 73. So I'll come back to designs and I'm going to change this number to say 73. I'm going to go back to the report and I'm going to look at average days on market. And you have to choose if you calculate your days on market based on when things actually sell, or if you're doing a rolling just where they are today, right? I'm going to go by sold. I'm going to say average days on market is 70. And then if I come down here, I want to look at the sold price per square foot because you have list price per square foot. So sale price per square foot is $273.58. I'm just going to say 274. Okay, so now I need to know list price, average list price, and average sold price. So I'm going to come right back here. Average list price seems extremely high, but okay. I'm just copying and pasting, and I'm going to get rid of the decimals. And now the average sold price. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to come back and paste it. Oops. Now, the only other thing you could do if you really, really want to is you could come in and hold down the Shift key while you're choosing your items. Shift will select more than one at a time. So all I did is click on the first one and then hold down Shift while I clicked all the other ones. And I want you guys to notice on the top right here, there's a button called Arrange. It looks like a square with a little outlined square behind it. I'm going to click on that button. And this is what I want you to make sure you notice. See here, it says align relative to page. I don't want to center justify these and have them all go in the middle. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to choose the third option down called selection of objects. And then I'm going to choose the horizontal middle. And what it's going to do is it's going to center all of these. The only thing to keep in mind is it does it by the size of the text box. So if your text boxes are bigger than your text, that might just give you a little bit of space on the side you don't want. And so now those are all lined up, so it looks fairly neat. And really, that's it. So obviously New Hampshire would work the same way. You're really just looking up what information, you know, is in there. If you're not a fan of the area market reviews, you can go under tools and go to market reports, but you're going to have to really look at a few of them. If you're going to do the total sold, the on market, and the pending, you're going to have to run those separately, but you can do that as well. You also need to choose your time frame and your town.
So that would give you different numbers?
No, it should give you the same numbers, but people don't all like the area market reviews. I like that one because it gives you all of the fields that you're looking for. So you've got all of those in there.
Would you mind showing again how you centered that box?
How I centered them? Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, I'm going to do it with, I want to make it really obvious. So I'm going to like mess these up a little bit. All right. So they're definitely not in a row. So I'm going to choose Andover, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard. And then I'm going to choose the March 25th, the average listing price, and I'm going to go through, I'm going to, with Shift held down, I'm going to select all of them. Then I'm going to go to the top of the screen. And I'm going to click on the Arrange button. I'm going to choose to align relative to the selection of objects. And then I'm going to choose the horizontal middle, which is the second to the left. And then they all line up.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I want to show you guys, if I keep it at page, which is the default, then they're all going to either go in, like if I choose middle, they're all going to go into the middle, right? It is technically in the middle of the overall page. And I can then, you know, just drag it over. It's not the end of the world. And of course you can hit undo, but I just wanted to show you what happens. So what questions have you guys got?
So if we want to just use a stock image there, do we have to create that library? I forget now. Are there already images that we can pull into here?
There are, but one of the little quirks that's coming in here is I don't have the image icon showing up. So if I show you what I mean here, I'm just going to click done and save. So this is going to save into her account. And I'm going to open up a different one. And this might be the one thing about importing PDFs. You should be able to change the picture. See this one, it's coming in with the image icon right here. You see that? The other one didn't have it. So with this one, if I click on images and I click on company, do you see here it says KW stock images?
Yes.
So with that, Keller Williams has given us
Oh, nice.
a huge amount of pictures, but let's just say that you don't love them. Maybe you don't want so many people. I mean, I like the dog, but you know, that doesn't necessarily always work. So you can still click here. I'm just going to zoom in. It says add. And when you choose add, you can go onto your computer and you can choose anything. Now you're going to see these are images that I had in there before. So they're all popping up. But if I click here on this drag and drop an image, it looks like a little rectangle with an arrow pointing up.
Yep.
Again, I'm going to go to my hard drive. So if you want, you can see the image that I just posted about Jamie's call today with Jason and Mitchell. And I could say, you know what? I want that image on here, even though for this, it doesn't really make sense, right? Now, one thing I want to show you is see how it's cut off.
Yes.
That's because, think of it like when you have text, you have a text box, and this image was cropped, the original image that was there. So if I double click on it, see how I have different options in here? Like I could move it down. The picture's still there. It's just that this box of what was there before needs to be dragged out. So the picture is still there. But when I'd have to double click on it to have the ability to either make it bigger, make it smaller, or to move it in the space. The other thing I could do is delete it entirely, and then I could just add it in. And if you notice it, it's better quality when I do that. And then I could just drag it to be the size that I want it to be.
Nice.
So if I come back, and I actually want to go into the one I was just in to see where the image went. See now when I come back into it, images is back, which is odd. So if I come over and I say add on the left of that gray box, then you can see that I have different options. So I could come in, and I guess I have to add it back in, my little Mitchell and Jason and Jamie image. And I can replace it. Again, I'm going to have that same issue, or I could move it over a little. The other thing I want you to notice, and I want to see if I back up, if it will come back. See how the images button disappeared again? I'm just gonna back out and go back in. That's something for me to log in and tell them about, because that's weird.
I saved out of the file and reopened it, but it saved
it's
out,
there.
reopened it and it was there.
Yeah, it's an odd little quirk. But I wanted you to see at the bottom, you also have the KWLS option. So what's great about that, if I were to come in, and I'm just gonna put in, okay, so this one, okay. What's great is when you find the listing that you want, it's going to bring in all of the images. Now, just for a different thing to note, it brings in all of the listing details. So for instance, at the bottom, it's hard to see because of that support button, but this is all the verbiage that was in MLS. So if I wanted that, I could add that. And I don't think I'd obviously want that in here, but I just want you to see that you do have that opportunity to easily translate things over. But if I didn't want this kitchen, for some reason I wanted this image, I could come in and drag that image in. Again, if I double click on it, I could, you know, change the size of it, move it around, anything that I want to do. So you could take any of these and even just put your listing pictures in it if that's what you want. And if you,
Can you access sold listings through KWLS?
yeah, this one here is a sold listing.
Sarah, just backing up to the data for a minute. On the total pending and the average price per square foot, I don't see on the area market review where the current pending is. It has the year to date went pending, but maybe I'm just not seeing it.
So it's year to date here.
Okay, so those are the units that have gone pending. So they may be, some of those may have been sold out by now, right? So
yep. So some things that I tend to do, I was trying to not be too complicated. Personally, I come in and I do it this way. I say, you know what, I want to see what is contingent and under agreement, and I'm going to come in and change the status date. So if I'm going to go from yesterday, I'm going to say 3/30/20 plus. That'll give me from yesterday onward. And it's always helpful if I pick the town. So I could see that there's 5.
got it. Okay.
And if I look all these up, I can see that they either went under agreement or contingent yesterday or today.
Okay.
I do the same thing with the solds. I would get rid of this here. And if I would say sold, and I would put 3/30/20 plus, and that would give me yesterday and today. I mean, it's Monday, so how many things closed yesterday, right? But if I was going to do this from a week ago, I could say 3/22 plus. And it's going to tell me that 6 have closed since last Monday.
And then for the average days on market and the average price per square foot, are you using the averages from the current listings or from the year-to-date solds?
I usually do the solds.
Right.
Because
okay.
to me, the average, I mean, it would still be growing.
Yeah.
Okay, what other questions have you guys got? I can't wait to see what you guys create. And I have one last thing to show you in our last 5 minutes if you think you can stand it. Sue Zeppi, I know you have something to say, come on.
I have a question if Sue doesn't.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm actually following.
All right, I came in 10 minutes in, so I just wanted to see if this is the form that was sent to us yesterday in a PDF.
Yep, this is one of them.
And I just wanted to see how you got it in. I saw everything since that point.
Mhm.
So I just need
Okay.
to know how you imported it to begin with.
Yep, so you come into designs,
Uh-huh.
and then you're going to click on the plus sign at the lower right, and you choose
Okay.
import PDF.
Okay.
And then when you hit next, it brings you to another screen where you have to hit that you're going to import it again. So in the center here, it says import PDF. You could drag and drop or just click on it to get
Okay.
to your downloads folder.
All right.
And then I'm just trying to see which ones maybe I haven't picked to upload to Jamie's here. So I'm going to pick one and hit open. I can see at the bottom right that it says that it's uploading.
Right.
Now, when it comes in, see how it's gray and it has a red triangle?
Yep.
Okay, that's normal.
Okay.
Once it shows me the preview, I'm going to click on these three little dots and I've got to choose to fix it. I'm not sure why, but every time we import one, we have to change it. Here we go. So I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm going to say fix, and I'm going to choose inches as the measurement unit. And then I can go ahead and click on it and open it.
Do you
And
need
that's
to fix every single one that comes in?
Yep.
Really? Okay. That's weird.
I know. At least it's fast.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that you could modify PDFs in here, so that's good.
Well, the only thing to keep in mind, if it's an outside PDF that was not originally created in Command, you might have font issues.
Ah, okay.
Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to go into, I can go into anything. I'll go into social. I really just want to get back to that same window. I'm going to show you how I created these. I go into my designs here, so I'm really going into the same thing. And you see right here, it says start from blank. Now I know you might think this sounds like too much, but I just want to show you this. So give me just a second. I'm going to hit start from blank, and I have to choose a size. So I was not feeling all that creative, so I just said custom size, and I said 8 by 8, and I said inches. And I hit create. So all I get here is a blank canvas that's apparently 8 inches by 8 inches. So when I was creating these, I came under shapes and I chose a square. Now the only thing to notice is that they always have a fill and an outline. So for these, I made my outline transparent, which is this icon here next to the word apply. And then I chose a red. Okay, so I have a red box. Then I came in and I copied it and pasted it. I made it a little bit smaller. Remember, it proportionally makes it smaller when I use the corners. I changed the fill color to be blank, and I changed the outline color to be white. When I have an outline color, I also have a stroke box at the top. And you can go in and be all fancy with dots and whatever, but I just said I wanted it to be solid and I made it a 3, which didn't mean anything to me at the moment. But when I put it over the red, I can see a little bit better what the different sizes mean. So I said, okay, great. Now I used the shift button and I selected both the red and the white, and then I copied and pasted. And I brought that over. And I did that again. And then I basically came in and I changed the colors of the different boxes. So I said, well, let's have one black. And let's have one gray. And this is literally all that I did. Now I can tell that I have to justify these because they seem a little bit off. So I'm going to do what we already talked about and said selection of objects and horizontal middle, and now they're all lined up. Then I came in and I said, well, I need text. So I said, well, I don't know if I want a title or a subtitle. Let's just see what it looks like. I said, well, okay, that looks kind of big, but for right now, I'm going to go for it. So I typed in market report. Well, obviously that looks kind of big. So I'm going to come in and choose something smaller. So if I'm at 138, let's see what 98 looks like. Well, that's not bad. What if I came in and I said, I want this to be red. I want this to be bold. I mean, you know, you can come in and you can do whatever you want. This little button on the right-hand side of your font toolbar does your line spacing. So I could make however much space I want between each line. Then I said, you know what, I really want a picture. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to pick a picture. All right, so here's the picture. You can see when I'm moving and I get towards the center, can you guys see that little blue line that's sort of giving me a guide? Right? This is all I did to create those. So if you're not used to working in designs, it's going to take you a little bit to, you know, just start playing around in it to get to where you're comfortable doing it. Oops. But I just want you to see that you can create things fairly quickly. And even if you say, oh, well, now the 5 looks like it should be bigger. And maybe I want the space between these two to be less. I mean, you could come in and you could just play until you get something that you like the looks of. So that was just a custom design. Actually, before I quit out, or I'm going to go into a different one. I think it was Bill, there you are, Bill, who was asking. So if I came in, and I'm going to go back into this one here, and I know that we're 4 minutes over, so I'm going to be really quick on this. If I wanted to go ahead and put this onto Facebook, or I could put it in an email, or I could send it out any way that I want, next to the name of it, see this little download button? When I hover on it, it turns red. When I click on that, I have 3 options. I have JPEG, PNG, or PDF. So you could do a JPEG. You're going to get a lot of pixelation with it. But you can see it's telling me it's going to be about 400 kilobytes. If I do a PNG, I can, you know, come in and make changes to it, but why get complicated? I'm just going to hit start download. What I want you to notice is as soon as I hit start download, you have to wait until it shows up here on the bottom of your screen on the left-hand side. When you're in Chrome, it will show up down there. If I were to do something else or hit done before that download happens, it's not going to download. Now, if I want a PDF, let's say that I want to give this completed one to Bill so that he can have this one exactly the way it is in his command. I'm going to choose get PDF, high resolution print, and hit start download. And again, same thing. I have to wait until it pops up on the bottom left before I hit done, or else, there you go, or else it won't actually save it. And then once I hit done, it will save right into my account. And that's really it. Any questions?
And we can post right from here, correct? I see the social post.
You can.
That's what I thought.
You can also go right into, if Sue, I know you're running a lot of ads, you can come right into your posts right here.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think that's how we do it now. Okay.
Anybody else? Don't forget that at 12 o'clock, Jamie and Mitchell and Jason Linscott are going to be doing one of their market updates. Very informative if you want to know all the latest that's going on from each, the mortgage perspective, the attorney perspective. I highly recommend it.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Sarah.